Picture this. You boot up a pixelated 8-bit game, maybe Super Mario Bros. Or The Legend of Zelda, after years of playing hyper-realistic, ray-traced blockbusters. The soundtrack is crunchy, the enemies move in patterns, the clocks are ticking, and you are strangely content. Why? And why are millions of other people still choosing to wander through those glowing block forests, rescue princesses, or get stomped by Koopas rather than play the latest photoreal virtual reality waltz? Let's unpack what's really going on. The big numbers aren't jokes. First, retro gaming isn't just a niche hobby, it's a powerful current in the gaming world. As of September 2024, Nintendo reported that Nintendo Switch Online had around 34 million members. That means tens of millions of people are paying every month or year, in part for access to classic libraries, Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Game Boy, N64, Genesis, and more. It's not someone's uncle has an old cartridge, it's mainstream. Meanwhile, retro gaming culture has tremendous reach through charity and speedrunning. For instance, Summer Games Done Quick 2025 raised $2,436,614 for Doctors Without Borders, spotlighting many classic titles. Awesome games done. Quick 2025 also brought in around $2.5 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. The lifetime total fundraising across all GDQ events is over $54 million. So retro isn't just alive, it's doing good. These numbers mean people are engaging with retro content in big ways. Nostalgia is not only sentimental, it sells and supports causes. Nostalgia is the secret weapon. Why do people sign up for NSO? Because retro games deliver nostalgia with surprising intensity. Hearing the jump sound of Mario, seeing the flat color palettes of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, feeling the drippy chiptune melodies, it all evokes memories. Research in psychology tells us that nostalgia can improve well-being, boost feelings of authenticity, and ease stress. Retro games are an instant way to press that nostalgia button, often without needing a time machine or a dial-up modem. It's not just about remembering something, it's reliving it, and that creates emotional resonance. For many players, that emotional hit is every bit as satisfying as photorealism, visuals, or cinematic spectacle and design simplicity and clarity. One of the mysteries of retro's staying power is how much fun is packed into small, simple systems. The rules are clear, the goals are defined, and each level has sharp boundaries. You don't need a 200-page manual or a side quest to level crafting tree number 372. Often you just need to dodge, jump, memorize, and try again. That simplicity is not laziness, it's purposeful design. Retro games often offer tight feedback loops. You die, you learn, you try again. Many modern games have steep learning curves where failure feels unfair. Many retro games fail fast, accept blame, and teach you as they do. That's deeply satisfying for many players. Access and convenience. If retro's appeal were just nostalgia and simpler design, it would be shrinking, except it's not. Access has become ridiculously easy. Subscription services like NSO serve entire classic console libraries emulated or ported, often including multiplayer or online features. By making retro content part of digital storefronts, companies have removed friction. No more hunting down old cartridges, worrying about compatibility, or struggling to find working hardware. Also, new hardware, boutique re-releases, and retro-look indie games make it possible to either re-experience originals or get that feel through fresh content. Sometimes seeing old visuals with new polish, save states, higher resolutions, modded controllers is enough to bring both old and new players on board. Community, speedruns, and events. Retro games don't thrive in isolation. They throw parties. Watch someone speedrun Super Metroid or Mega Man, dodging every hit like they've made a pact with the pixel gods, and you'll see how players keep breaking these games in delightful, unintended ways. Then there are the big shows, Summer Games Done Quick, and Awesome Games Done Quick. They are not small get-togethers, they are week-long cultural blowouts where gamers raise millions of United States dollars, $2.5 million at Awesome Games Done Quick 2025, $2.4 million at Summer Games Done Quick 2025, all while making Mario run faster than physics should allow. And let's not forget arcades, retro cafes, and gatherings where you can still slap real buttons and share the joy of classic consoles. Retro gaming isn't just digital nostalgia. It is a social sport, half competition, half comedy, and all community. Preservation and official support. Many retro games survive thanks to hobbyists, ROM archivists, and modders, but increasingly, legal and official pathways are stepping in. Companies are recognizing that old titles are part of their heritage and part of what fans want. Restored versions, remasters, and inclusion in retro libraries are becoming business staples. Nintendo, for example, has expanded its NSO service over time. As of mid-2025, it has added more retro content tiers. Also, official reissues and retro compilations are easier to find, and hardware designed for retro play or features within modern consoles for backwards compatibility are more accepted. Preservation matters. Without it, old games degrade, lose compatibility, and eventually vanish. Official support helps ensure access for new generations. Why modern players? Also join the retro party. It's not only folks who played these games in the 80s and 90s. Younger players, raised on smartphones, live service games, and blockbuster sagas, often become curious about where game mechanics came from. They find value in seeing the origins of genres, platformers, Metroidvanias, roguelikes, pixel art, chiptunes, etc. For many, retro games are educational. Understanding limitations breeds creativity. Also, streamers and content creators bring retro games to a wider audience. Watching someone speedrun Donkey Kong Country or play DuckTales with two controllers strapped to their feet gets weirdly compelling. Suddenly, a game released in 1992 is trending on Twitch or TikTok. Modern exposure boosts popularity, and moreover, cost is often lower. Many retro classics are cheaper to acquire digitally than new full-price games, especially when sales or bundles are involved. For gamers on tighter budgets, or those who simply want something reliably fun without a long download or huge system specs, retro games are often the smarter choice. The aesthetic and challenge appeal: pixel art, limited color palettes, 8-bit look, chiptunes. These things are now styles, not restrictions. Designers embrace limitations of earlier hardware, sometimes as constraints that force inventive mechanics or visuals. These aesthetics often feel more expressive and imaginative than highly polished 3D graphics that cost hundreds of millions to produce. Challenge is also part of retro's lure. Many retro games are tougher. They punish mistakes more harshly, but also reward precision and practice more clearly. That sense of mastery, "I finally beat level 4-2, often feels harder to achieve in huge open worlds or games with mild difficulty scaling. Retro games are about that satisfaction. Small wins, repeated tries, skill showing through. Recent trends reinforcing retro's strength. In 2025, retro is not fading, it's leveling up. Nintendo Switch Online keeps stuffing its library with classics, treating them as core content, not just dusty nostalgia bait. Charity marathons tied to retro games keep smashing records: 2.4 million United States dollars at Summer Games Done Quick, 2.5 million at Awesome Games Done Quick. Publishers keep reissuing, remastering, and bundling old favorites, and players keep buying them faster than Mario grabs coins. Meanwhile, indie developers are proudly rocking pixel art and chiptunes, turning hardware limitations into marketing gold. The message is clear. Retro isn't stuck in the past, it's the cheat code for the future. Why old games feel fresh. Even though we've seen thousands of games over the past decades, retro titles often feel more digestible in fairness, pacing, and structure. They strip away many modern indulgences, open-world side quests, endless loot, complex skill trees, and let you focus on core mechanics. That minimalism often ends up being more satisfying, especially as many players are overloaded with choices in modern games. There's also something joyful in the glitch, the sprite flicker, the slowdown, the memory limitations. These imperfections remind us that games used to be built by smaller teams, more constrained by hardware. And paradoxically, those constraints often led to design brilliance. When you see those artifacts now, they carry charm. They feel handcrafted, even poetic in their limitations. The upside of failure: retro games aren't always kind. They expect you to die. They expect you to try again. There's no undo checkpoint or tutorial that holds your hand. And sometimes you lose. But those losses matter. When you finally beat that boss, cross that chasm, or solve that puzzle, with only 3 lives left, of course, the satisfaction is huge. It's earned. Modern games sometimes offer many layers of safety nets. Retro games often do not. That makes success sweeter. And that's why retro games are still crushing it. Pixels, pings, and plenty of nostalgia. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, make sure to smash that like and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. And remember, always blow in the cartridge, even if it doesn't actually help. See you in the next one.